Tanuj, thanks very much for joining us. And
Uh, yeah, thank you so much, first and foremost.
congratulations on getting your scores. Obviously, it's a massive
Thank,
achievement. You must be delighted with yourself.
yes, definitely. Thanks a lot to the entire team for helping me out and achieving the great result.
And can you just tell us the type of test you did, so academic or general, and then the scores that you got?
Uh, I did my general, the computer-based one, and I wanted the score of 8,777, but I exceeded all expectations.
Yes, you did a lot better than that. What were your final scores?
My final scores were 9 in listening, 9 in reading, 7 in writing, and 7.5 in speaking.
Hmm. So really, a lot better than you needed. But I'm sure
Yes, exactly.
that will help. Okay, so we'll come back to IELTS in a minute, but can you just tell us a little bit about yourself before we do, Tanuj?
Yeah, I am a chartered accountant in India, and I'm going to pursue a CPA course. So I have those. My institute has a mutual recognition agreement with India and Canada. So I'll be pursuing CPA Canada through this recognition, and I'm going to do ASAP and try out the Canadian PR.
And how long will you be in Canada to do that?
It is like I need to give three papers for clearing CPA of Canada. They have my institute and the institute over there have a mutual recognition agreement in which they exempt certain papers of, say, the ones which are equally likely in both countries. So you have accounts, you have finance, which are almost uniform wherever you go in any country. So you can just have a look, and they give you exemption. They just want maybe a presentation type of a thing, or such things.
And when you finish that, is it your intention to stay in Canada and live there, or do you intend
Yes,
to come back
I
to?
I I intend to stay in Canada and work over there itself.
Great. So tell me a little bit about from the time that you realized you needed to do the IELTS test, or from the time you decided you were going to do the IELTS test up until quite recently and getting the scores that you needed.
Yes, my journey began in November 2018. I was working in an audit firm, so there was this Diwali break in my office time. So it's like the greatest Indian festival out here. So it was a 7 day break maybe. So I had this time off during my office. So I decided to give my IELTS exam during that period. So I began studying from maybe September, October 2018, and I thought I would be able to give my exam by watching videos and doing stuff. Not I want to just mention this fact that I didn't even write one single essay the first time when I gave, and because of that I suffered a hell lot. I mean, my initial scores were 8 in listening, 7 in reading, 6.5 in writing and speaking. So I was totally broken. I didn't know what to do and how to approach. So I took a long break, and after March ending, so Jan to March was a busy season in my office. So it was very hectic, like 12 13 hours a day, and you need to work on Saturdays as well. So I had zero time, and I was demotivated at that time as well. So I thought it was not a good time to study. Then suddenly I got my desired educational credential from West Canada. So I thought it is time to uh, get IELTS done and begin my journey. So what happened was I followed this IELTS Advantage since October itself. So suddenly there was a vacancy in VIP. So I thought it is a great time, and Chris always used to mention for the fact that opportunity lost gain thing. So, and me being a finance guy, I was into it, like this is now or never. I shouldn't
Yeah,
wait.
and it makes sense.
I should enroll, and your VIP courses are they get fill out very soon. So I thought this was the time for me to either this way, or I need to forget things.
And how were you able to study for the tests when you were working 13 hours a day, 6 days a week? How were you able to juggle those two things that obviously the preparation takes a lot of time, and it
Yes.
doesn't sound realistic
Yeah,
for you to
yeah.
be able to
So
do
what
both of
happened
those?
was I gave my computer-based test in the first during the first week of June, and from maybe April 15th to May 30th, exactly
Right.
to say 1.5 months, I followed only and only what Chris said. Nothing more than that. I, you know, I had my time off during this 1 month, say the whole May. I took a 1 month break from my office,
So you were off.
and
Good.
yeah, I was off. I needed to, because it was this way or that way for me.
It would be impossible
So
doing that
yeah,
much work. It would be impossible to
yeah,
find.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to take off from my office, and I followed everything what Chris said. I even, sometimes I went on to watch the videos at least 5 times, because what Chris said was very, very much simplified. So it was like it set a benchmark for me, to get that thing done.
And so in the previous tests, there are obviously some problems you had that you needed to overcome. But can you just tell us a little bit about what those problems were, like the things that you struggled with? What were those things, and then how did you overcome them?
Okay, right. So in the last time I gave my test, I didn't know exactly what to write in an essay, first and foremost, because my weak section was task one and not task two. I took for granted the essay thing, and gave more focus on task two in the first exam as well, and till the point I bought the VIP course. So I thought that this one was more important, and I gave at least 80% of my time to task two, rather than giving equal weightage to both. So
Sorry, was that
I changed my
when
strategy.
when you were studying or when you were doing the test?
When I was studying,
Nice.
after the test, and during the time I studied.
And then you said you changed your strategy.
Yeah, I changed my strategy and followed what exactly Chris had mentioned, to keep it simple. uh, what he explained in the task one essays, how to keep it simple, and link everything in one, what the bullet points want, exactly what should one write, uh, give one word, give more explanation about the next sentence. That helped me, literally helped me a lot, and it turned out positive.
And did you have many issues with the difference between the type of language, the formal language and the informal language, in
Yes,
previous tests?
I initially, when I gave my submissions uh, in that five submissions that I need to give.
Oh, sorry, your microphone's after going there, Tanuj. Okay, you're back. So you're saying
Yeah,
the
hello.
five. Yeah, we're back. So you were saying about the 5 submissions.
Yeah, so yeah, right. So I gave five. I gave the first one of task one itself. So I wanted to check at which level I, stand. So once the result came, I got 6.5. So I exactly went through where was my mistake, where I'm going wrong, and this helped me to identify my mistakes and check for the future times. And in between all this, till the time from the time I completed your 12 modules for task one and task two till the time I gave exam, I literally used to write one essay and one letter and submit it to my friend. And he used to tell me that this thing is wrong, this thing is wrong. And once he gives me a feedback, after that, after 2 or 3 days, I used to make notes that this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And then I took a new essay, and then I used to give for a submission to your website.
So was he marking the language mistakes or the content and the structure mistakes?
Okay, yeah, he was just marking my language mistakes, nothing more than that.
So
He's just he was he's actually my school friend, so he knows where I lag, and he can easily identify and tell me where my mistake is.
with vocab and grammar. That's very, very useful.
Yeah,
Very useful.
yeah,
Great.
exactly.
Okay, so just one more question I'd like to ask is, can you imagine yourself back in like September 2018? And if you were able to give yourself some advice back then, so with what you know now, what advice
Hmm.
would you have given yourself back in September 2018 when it was all starting?
I would say the most important thing was to keep it keep it very simple, and follow a structure and follow what the question asks, and not accuracy is important, not the range of vocabulary. You can only speak what you know. And if you are trying to speak out what you do not know, or what is beyond your knowledge, then you're going to crash down very hard. That
Mhm.
is a fact.
Yeah. So I think like we see that a lot with newer students where they're using their language to impress, not using their language to communicate. And if you're not communicating,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
impression isn't what you would be hoping for. Yeah, that's really good advice. And anything else?
One more advice, last, or say I watched the introduction part, and in the last video, Chris had mentioned about some particular tips about exam. The one I liked the most was I surrounded myself with English for for the last 1 week before the exam. Like, I used to from the start, from the from early morning, I used to watch the episodes of The Office, the one which uh, is very popular.
Right.
And I read newspapers. I watched English commentary on maybe the Premier League, the Cricket World Cup, or every sort of thing. I used to surround my day was like 90, not even 99% English. That's what helped me to come out of this and get such marks.
So you're completely, there's English, nothing but
Yes,
English in your mind
exactly.
before you even went to the
Yes.
test. So you didn't have to start in the test. You started a week beforehand.
Way back, exactly,
Brilliant.
exactly. That was the most important piece of advice that Chris gave.
That's great. Well, thanks for sharing all of that with us. And one more time, congratulations, Tanuj. You're
Thank you so much.
always delighted to hear about our students getting good results, and really appreciate you sharing your advice with the world, really, because there will be a lot of people who can take what you've given them and use that to achieve their own IELTS results. So thank you one more time. Fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank
Take
you so
care of
much.
yourself,
Thank you
Tanuj.
to the whole thing. Thank you.
Best of luck in Canada now. Okay.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.